technology has lost a lot of credibility.
Assalamu alaikum. That one eye where they always spy on me. I know you are a robot. Maybe you are a AI bot or something. Or EFCC. Either way, welcome. Let me see what I have in my...
Take a look at some...
We want mandatory electronic transmission of results. Yakubu, what caused the glitch? Yakubu, they don't nominate him as ambassador. We want free and fair elections in Nigeria.
Pass the bill. Pass the bill. Pass the bill.
Better than drive and you can go tell her. Because this car's feed empty, they will use another entrance. We know you people. But this electoral bill, you will pass it.
Pass the bill. Pass the bill. Pass the bill. Pass the bill. Pass the bill.
Pass this bill.
Pass the 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 bill.
Benkalu.
Pass the bill.
Pass the bill.
Pass the bill.
Tajudeen Abbas.
Pass the bill.
Pass the bill.
Pass the bill.
Simon Lalong.
Pass the bill.
Pass the bill.
Pass the bill.
Barau Jibri.
Pass the bill.
Pass the bill.
Pass the bill.
Ireti Kingibe.
Pass the bill.
Pass the bill.
Pass the bill.
Senator.
Pass the bill.
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 You must pass this bill.
Pass it now.
Our vote must count.
Now.
2027. Our vote must count.
Yes.
We do not want glitches.
Our vote must count.
What should I say now?
We don't want to
Senator Lalong, Tajudeen Abbas, Barau Jibri,
Pass the bill.
Benkalu,
Pass the bill. Pass the bill. Pass the bill. Pass the bill.
All of you,
Pass the bill.
you must pass the bill.
Pass the bill.
You must pass the bill.
Pass the bill. Pass the bill.
Our demand is simple. If not for the mischief of leaders, is there a democracy in the world where there is no free and fair election? Yes. You had an election, you committed more than 300 billion in 2023. Somebody said there was a glitch. There was a glitch, but there was a winner. For 2 years and going to 3 years, a National Assembly that knows that the hallmark of every democracy is free, fair, credible, and peaceful elections has not been able to pass and amend an electoral bill to guarantee mandatory electronic transmission of results or the use of electronic technology. So the people have to prevail on them. Is Nigeria the only democracy not governed by Democrats? Or Democrats in Nigeria do not like free and fair elections? The country can never move forward until the votes of the people begin to count. There is no country where the people know that, or leaders know that the mandate of the people is what takes them there, that leaders will act irresponsibly and recklessly. So the Nigerian dilemma is because power does not come from the people. And what Nigerians are here to insist is that we want a process where Nigerians will pick their leaders. How can you say that there will be an election will happen, 360 lawmakers, more than 280 will end up in courts? So in Nigeria, we spend billions of naira to conduct a process, then we wait for the judiciary to pick our leaders. As how now? They know they do like that. So today, everybody is calling on Akpabio, the president of the 10th Senate, Tajudeen Abbas, the speaker, the deputy Senate president, all members of National Assembly. Nigerians want one thing, and it is not ambiguous. Our votes must count. 2027, we do not want glitches. Whatever that was the glitches, the person who said there was glitches is now an ambassador, by the way. Confirmed to be an ambassador. My brother, make you see country where we did. Nigerians want to vote our leaders. Without free and fair election, what is the deterrence? We have incentivized bad leadership, because you know you can reward yourself with more years. No matter how bad you are, you can come back, you can install stooges. We say enough. Our vote must count. They must pass the bill. Whether they like it or not, we will mobilize and come out and vote. So either ways, they will pass it or they will pass it.
No more delay. No more
because we know you people resumed yesterday and you will come today to tell you, please, urgently, to pass the bill and also transmit to the president, because we know the president is a Democrat. When the president's local government funds were seized by Obasanjo, I was in the street in Lagos. Achike was in this. For weeks, we took over the space of Lagos. And Obasanjo had us, though he didn't release it. But because of activism, when Yar'Adua became president, may he so rest in peace, one of the first things he did, we know that we will remind Tinubu, he knows us. We've been together in the streets to pass the law. But the National Assembly is delaying it, and there is no time. And that's why we have to mobilize Nigerians to come here this morning to tell you people, if you don't pass it this week, there will be a problem. But we are asking that the bill must be passed this week and transmit to the president. We will do the work to get the president to assent to the bill. To tell the president to assent to the bill. Sir, we like you, we like the way you stop. A sign of respect. Some of your colleagues have greeted us and passed. But as a sign of respect, you have stopped to speak with us. And as a spokesperson of the House of Rep, the committee, you are here to talk to us. We want to go inside. The DPO has promised us by 11:30 he will take us inside. We want to go inside and present our demands. It's simple. Pass this law, this bill. Pass it and assent immediately to the president. Because you were in Lagos when you people joined committee, agreed on this bill. You were there. We have engaged with you at the level of situation room and plaque.
That some of my colleagues had passed. Maybe they don't have the locus because I am the spokesperson of the House, and that's why I'm able to engage with you on the record. Now, number one, right, in terms of where the bill is, like you rightly mentioned, the Joint Committee on Electoral Matters has finalized on the bill. It has passed already in the House of Representatives. I need you to note that. And it is before the Senate. And we know that the Senate, by the grace of God, is going to expedite this, and we will get a positive outcome in the next few days. I'm very sure of that. Because for us, when we resumed yesterday, the priorities for us is constitutional amendments, which of course we know that this is a priority to Nigerians. Number two is the 2026 budget, and number three is the Electoral Act. We know the timelines, we're very conscious of this, and we're working towards making this happen as quickly as possible. I want you to know, if you had told me about this protest or demonstration, maybe some of us in the House and in the Senate will have even joined you. Because we are on your wait a minute. we will even join you, because we ourselves know that the foundation of democracy is the right to choose. By the grace of God, I personally sponsored the independent candidacy bill, right? Yes, and this is something that I'm also championing. We're hoping that it also becomes part of our statutes to open the democratic space. So the House of Representatives, and by extension the National Assembly, aligns very much with your agitations, and we pray that you allow for us, right, to allow the legislative process to continue and reach its conclusion as quickly as possible. We are very, very conscious of the timelines, and we align very much with your agitations. Please allow us to carry out the legislative work. The last point I want to make is that oftentimes we think we need to resort to street level protests and all of that. It's good sometimes, but more times it's also important for us to engage, explore the channels. Not your coordinators there, he will tell you, if he looks into his DM messages, you'll see that I've tried to engage him many times. No response. No response. If I ask you now who your representative is, who your senator is, have you tried to reach them? The answer will be no. I have. So, okay, I'll come to that. But you would be yes. But I'm encouraging you. I'm encouraging you to do more about engagement. Right? Do more. This assembly, this 10th assembly, we are very, very intentional about public engagement, and we don't take Nigerians for granted. And in summary, electoral matters is a priority for us. And very, very soon, we are going to have the outcomes. It is going to go to the president. I'm sure that by the grace of God, you know, it will assent to.
Want us to give you?
Because again, I can't commit on behalf of the Senate, but I can tell you that the House of Representatives has passed this. It is before the Senate, and I know it is priority.
Some sessions, have they passed it?
No, we have passed it. We have passed the Electoral Act. The House has passed it. So it has been transmitted now to the Senate, right? You know, the Senate for concurrence. But as you know, one of the things that we did, in order not to waste time, is to ensure that both the House and the Senate were working together. And at a point in time, yes, we dissolved into a joint committee so that we don't have a long process of harmonization. And the Senate going to the article, what is that the House is easier to the President for assent. So we are very much in line with you. This assembly, we are going to achieve electoral reforms by the grace of
all these content creators. I think, I mean, it is sad that we do things the same way every time and we expect change to come. They say all you need, we are country of 220 million people. You get what? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people on the street. And you think people that you are screaming to get their attention will not use it to play politics? Go! This energy, now they spend, they shout, they scream, neo-creative content. Go to the locals. Just go and inform and educate the locals. By the time you go around the nation and this same protest is taking place simultaneously in at least 10 to 15 states at the same time, you will get your results. We are spending time and energy to the screen for this room of Abuja because that's where the seat of power is. And you think you are speaking on behalf of these people. I don't just understand. I don't get it, man. Fucking crazy. See, the man come out, tell them, say, make it reach out to your state, of course. What do you expect? Go. By the time you spend time, it will take you time. Spend in the first 3 months of the year going around the villages, telling people this is their responsibility, this is their duty, this is what they need to do. This is that. I mean, we will achieve a better result. I mean, what do I know? They like everybody will be celebrity now, kinda. Let me see what's a big cry for. I'm playing all this so that people will know where we are as a people, in line with, to see if we know what time is it. So that history go recall, say, in case this video stay up to next 100 years, people will look back and say, when they were recolonizing us, what were we doing? This would be my evidence.
Here, criminals that are not obedient people. You don't see anybody who is calling anybody bad name. We are not asking for division. I personally do not in any way. You've never seen me call anybody bad name or anything. We are in ADC. We respect everybody who is in ADC. We can say, oh, we want to be this or want to be that. But as for calling people bad name, we are not part of it. I don't subscribe to it, and I'm not part of it. The people I met there from the party chairman is my very dear elder brother. People like Atiku are my leader, my respected elder brother. Amechi is my brother, we're very close, and so is El Rufai, name them, all of them that are there. We're the same thing. You have Lely Moke, you have Governor Fatai, Oyegunu is our elder brother, Aribo Shola, these are my colleagues. So I cannot say anything bad about them. And those who are following me, I assure you, will not say anything bad about them. But you have some elements that are trying to introduce that in order to see if they can hurt the P2B brand. We are talking to everybody. That is not what we should be doing in politics. Let's talk about out of school children. Let's talk about hungry Nigerians. Let's talk about unemployed Nigerians. Let's talk about insecurity. Our people are being kidnapped. 150 in a church, in a mosque, in everything. That should be our preoccupation.
You know, in politics, you have divergence and interests. Your ability to bring them together and make them see reason into the pathway is the most important thing. And I believe His Excellency, Mr. Peter Obi, will do justice to that. It is expected that all obedience should come together and rally round, because we need to win this election for Dr. Mo, the obedient movement, and the ADC. So all of us must be seen to be working together under one umbrella. If there are differences,
I'm glad that
we
they are
call
taking
ourselves
my
as brothers
advice
and
to
sisters
work.
and settle the differences and negotiate to ensure that we give full support to the candidate that His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi is supporting. That was the reason why we've been crying long before now that His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi is the person that they are targeting, because they want to make sure that he does not have a ticket to run. But I can say there's a lot of political parties. But here, Mr. Peter Obi, as a Democrat and a collective person, is interested in a larger entity. And so he has moved into a group of people cut across the Federal Republic of Nigeria because of the interest of Nigerian people. So that shows that he's not a selfish person. And so they have decided to bring back the Labour Party. All well and good. Don't be surprised. The Labour Party may also be in the coalition, because this is just a coalition of individuals. There may still be coalition of political parties. The Otto Nwankwo, those who lost their life at NSAS, those who lost their life in the struggle for democracy, making sure that Nigeria is a society that all of us can be happy about. That is the core energy of the obedient movement. All the obedient movement is saying is that we need good governance in this country. And we are not dilly-dallying about it. It's a quest and it's a demand for us. So anybody who wants to take over power from the existing situation where hunger, decay in the system, lack of respect, insecurity, should use the energy of the obedient movement. We are there for everybody to take. If you are interested in winning election, this is no time for you to be looking down on the obedient movement. You should use the strength of the obedient movement to win elections. These are youths. These are young technocrats. These are determined individuals. These are people who have stood firm that say, look, we want to change the narrative in this country. And so therefore, if that energy is what is going to propel us into winning, I think it's supposed to be a plus. So anybody who believe in a new Nigeria, that want to change in Nigeria, the obedient movement is there for you to use as an energy to win the election. So therefore, we should leverage on the energy of the obedient movement to win this election. And don't forget, they are everywhere, including the presidency.
And here we are, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, we are here
2026.
to urge the Senate to pass the electoral
January
year 2025 electoral amendment bill. The House of Reps passed it in December, and the Senate have been delaying in passing it. We Situation Room, we started by issuing press releases since the beginning of January. We send out people to media houses to talk about this bill, and we also organized press conference last week. Now we are here with other citizens to say we are urging you, Senate, to pass this bill. You know that INEC is supposed to release their year 2027 general elections timetable a 1 year before the elections. And next month, February, is exactly 1 year. And if they do not pass this bill and transmit it immediately,
we are fighting for power while the world is preparing to enslave us like it was in early 1800. You know, the British Empire did not exactly start as a corporation, just as the modern sense, the way Board of Peace and the current government of America wants to run things. No. But many of its earlier expansion, talking about the British Empire now, that actually colonized us first. But the early expansion relied on a chartered joint stock companies. I'm saying this to those who are saying that, you know, Trump is running the next international organization like business. It all starts, all of them, they start as business. So all this, they started as a chartered joint stock companies that they operated with the royal charter. You know, if you remember those under British colony, they blend those with the private enterprise, trade monopolies, and state-backed authority. This company often began as trade ventures or cooperation before evolving into territorial control, and colonial administration. So those people who always see never see what is coming. We need to go all the way back when British decided to say they want to take us. Not just us two, Indian, the same thing. This East Indian Company, that's another one they use. That was founded in 1600. And they say you have to go all the way back. Again, it was founded as a private trading company with a royal charter granting its monopoly rights over English trades with Asia, primarily India. It started as a commercial entity focusing on spice, textiles, and later tea, opium, but gradually gained military power, collected taxes, administered justice, and ruled large parts of India like a government until the British Crown took direct control after 1857. Sounds like our history too, Abby. It also influenced part of Southeast Asia and trading post some okay. So for us Africa, particularly West Africa, include what now what's become Nigeria, the pattern was similar with chartered companies. The Royal Nigeria Company was chartered in 1886. Now, so our generation will come 40, 100 or 70, 80 years from now. Now, so they will read down how Donald Trump started board of pits. They evolve into technocracy because that's where this is going, technocracy. Because at the end of the day, they don't need to come surround you with power, guns, and no. They have everything under control from Silicon Valley to anywhere that is finally going to be in charge. So they started the Royal Niger Company, started in 1860, 1888, 1886, pardon me. Originally, the National African Company, that was the name, NAC, was granted the royal charter to trade and administer the Niger region. It functions signing treaties with local rulers, establishing monopolies, and using force to expand influence before the British government declared the Protectorate of Northern Nigeria in 1800. So by the time Facebook could detect to us, you know, all these big corporation, Google, after when they hold the AI summit for France, President Tinubu had to sneak into hotel to go see the CEO of Google. So these are the company that will run us, just as Chevrons and Shell dictate who govern Nigeria for a long period of time. These are going to be those uh, Silicon Valley guys. So they declared the Protectorate of Nigeria in 1900 and amalgamated it into modern Nigeria in 1814. Earlier entity like the Company of Royal Adventurer Trading into Africa, as early as 1660s, they're already there. And the African Company of Merchant focus on the slave trade and coastal commerce. The term UAC likely referred to this something, so United African Company. In Caribbean, they do the same thing. Early British presence, Barbados, Jamaica, began with private ventures, settlement, and chartered companies involved in sugar plantation and the transatlantic slavery trade, rather than one single dominant entity like that of the Royal Niger Delta. So the crown gradually asserted more direct control. That's the same thing the American government is doing. They are expounding. They are just this is the beginning of their empire empire adventure. So as we forge ahead, power will gradually shift to the hands of these Silicon Valley guys, the autonomous guy, AI guys, quantum computing guys, all the same people. Since data is the new oil, all they need is our attention. So they control from far. That's what see playing out. So if you look that board of peace, uh, that's a new international organization that, as far as I'm concerned, will take over UN. History will say that it was established by Donald Trump in early 2020, ratified in Davos, Switzerland. It originated as part of the Trump plans to resolve the Gaza conflict, oversee ceasefire, reconstruction, governance, and aid distribution in Gaza post war. I used to done the so now so they go present am. And that's exactly the Europeans. That's why the Europeans sign on to it because they believe in now for brown people, now for Gaza people, all these third world people. So what's the point? Let's back them. After they don't sign me, they come to say, come on, this is not for everybody. Oh. This thing is going to govern us too. But it's too late. So they are going to have their own military. They have money to throw around. You see what's going to happen. So history phrases that way. That Donald Trump presented it like his own private company. That's how they tell us. But okay. But has expanded into a broader body aimed at global conflict resolution, from Gaza to global conflict resolution, stability and peacekeeping. It never finish. That's how the League of Nations also come into bear. After the First World War One, lasted for 27 years or so, 28 years, replaced by United Nations. So yes, the next UN is going to metamorphose from what Board of Peace is. But they might twitch the name a little bit, but doesn't matter. Just like the UN does not matter anyway, America runs it too. So Trump will chair it indefinitely, possibly beyond his term. So countries join by paying $1 billion. That's how Royal Niger Delta Company start. West Indian, a corporation, a business guy who are just roll around. If you go through the history of how Hawaii was also colonized, not business guy. Though if you look at those who are fruits who they chop for America, though that's the man, that's a single billionaire who mobilized a military, private military to go and take over Hawaii before American people, American government overtook it. So it really starts. So country will jump by paying $1 billion for permanent seats membership with temporary option for less. Members so far include some like EU, don't the Hungary, Pakistan, Israel, Kosovo, but limited Western NATO. Those ones will come along. They don't get choice. Trump, the American government wants to deal with the NATO, the European nation one by one. Everybody has your papa name. That's why you see he's going after NATO, attacking the leaders and everything. One, he doesn't want to even want this current leader that European unions have because they believe they are all corrupt. They are part of the globalists. They want new people to come in, the likes of Farah, Maria Farage, and waiting them call again for Britain. All the Farah people they wanted to go to power, and that's going to happen within the next couple of years. So the negotiation will go. They would negotiate one country by one at a time, not the European nation collective. That's what is coming. So this is pretty much as now a privatized United Nation or Trump-led entity with the US as a dominant stakeholder. Even the UN too, maybe America dominate them. So the critics will call it pay to play. pay-to-play mechanism for influence, oversight, foreign construction. Yeah, not for broker ass people. So I say till they start the recolonization, our recolonization just begins. What the likes of Kwame Nkrumah told us about in 1963 is happening. They are recolonizing us again, just like the way the British people do. And so the American empire is just beginning. They are literally just going to start. Let's see how long they're going to hold it, right? So there is fucking parallel between how the British started their adventure. It's an empire within the third world nation, from India to Africa to every other territory that they can. After they lost pretty much Soviet, they are going to lose the British 13 colonies, the 13 colonies of America. So if America is saying that China is bringing competition to those who believe that that's what is going on, what do you think is going to do? They will expand first, and that's what they are doing. How do you do that? Corporate level. So to understand it, you have to be able to draw the parallel between what is happening now and what happened when the British started the advantage within the third world nations, colonizing everywhere. So they both started at they started as a noble goal, all right? They always they come with good idea, want to help. They are the goal of setting up the board of peace was noble. I mean, nobody can argue with that. It was a noble goal. Trade cooperation was peace and stability. With financial power structure. Yeah, monopolies. Charters, but is $1 billion fees, right? During the British, sell it as a shares, but today now pay cash. So it's set up as some of to tackle pretty trade in Asia, Africa, and Gaza. But now everybody is going to be on the fold. I mean, at least the European nations see that. See how clearly. So yes, you can argue that the British charters then the companies were profit focus oriented. Yes, it was directly that it led to the colonization directly. We agree with that. That's it. But today on, the Board of Peace is framed as multilateral peacekeeping reconstruction. True crisis see it as US centric. There's a US centric and transactional. It's the same bullshit. So both involve entities that promise benefits, wealth, peace, but ties access to big payments and centralized authority. That's how they get us. So in Berlin 1845, I be Berlin 85, sorry. You want to compare it to Davos 2026. Especially as a Nigerian. That's how you should see it from. See it from that parallel. That what transpired in Berlin 1885 is the same thing as what happened in Davos 2026. At least as a Nigerian, somebody's coming from West Africa should anything short than that, you're missing the point. So Berlin conference was the scramble for that's what they call it now, scramble for Africa. That's what Berlin that's what the conference is about. So it was Otto van Bismarck that conveyed that in Berlin. Otto van Bismarck. Then how many countries attend? Say 14 countries, 14 European countries, plus the US. Those were the superpower there, Abi. Abi, imagine superpower. The Ottoman Empire were also there too, as an observer. Just like the Moroccans and Egyptians were on this one too. Board of Peace. As far as I'm concerned, the observers. Maybe they play more role anyway. And then there was no African represented there. Abi, in Berlin, 1885. At Davos, are they there? No. So how come? What was the outcome of Berlin 1885? Direct occupation, part of it. They all divide the territory, African territory, effectively. They occupied it. Free trade on rivers like the Congos, Niger, the navigation rights, and suppression of slave trade. Selective. I mean, they were just loading every. They understand our territory passes that it is if they tell it from that because people will know that place better when I go now, and the history was not passed on to us. So as a Nigerian, you should see these two events from one angle, from the same lens, because it formalized the partition of the continent. They ignore the tribes, the ethnicity, they ignore the culture, the existing sovereignty. Fuck it. They draw borders. I'm just literally say come from here to here, from there to there. That's why they say land from my village that time. I say from that tree where there. It's make you throw to anywhere in land. And then the land start from. That's what they share. That's what they share the continent. You know? Split the ethnicity group across Nigeria, Cameroon. I don't give a fuck. Accelerated colonial conquest. They fast forward down. Like the way they want turbocharge, the way they go turbocharge this second colonization with the help of AI. The thing go just as it happen. Trump talk am, long lazy, they will call swift. No, they can't follow you, they negotiate all those kind of things. I was thinking as they don't need that. They tell you this is what we want, you say no, boom. AI go call now robot will call it slap us for street. This was in 1885. Alright, sounds like today, Abby. For just conquest, resource extraction, forced labor. We don't think about the consequences, and that's it's not going to be different from what is coming for us now. Right? They are still coming for our resources. They make it clear, say this one said they know the evil eye down. So this is it. Forced labor, Abby, that's when the Atlantic slavery was at its peak. Ship una anyhow because una get muscle to go work. Agricultural revolution. This time around, I don't want your stinky ass and I know they ship you again. Something better is in place. Just stay with me, stay with me. Right? Resource extraction, forced labor, and long-term instability. Even up to today. Especially when they don't groom people to play that role. That's why they don't want groom una again. they can see you from afar. I think that's the next show I will do, maybe tomorrow. How 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 America use how America use uh, how they weaponize global economy. Well, if it is na only dollar, na in America get as a their weapon of mass distraction. You think again. All those cable wire, we go cross all the seas, Black Seas, Atlantic, all the walls of the world from Asia to all of them that then get that. They listen to every goddamn thing you say. People never understand this the extent, how far the American empire don't go or is ready to go. Oh, so from a Nigeria point of perspective, you want to see what is going on. You have to be able to just blow out the noise or this bunch of fools where they want to become president, they run up and down, they want to become leader. They want be, I don't know what they want lead. They want lead plantation. So that 1885 from Nigerian point of view, that shit formalized the partition of the continent. They ignore everything that keep us together apart. So Nigeria emerged from that amalgamation, British protectorate, northern, southern, shaped by its era of logic. So as well to today, their legacy is still here anyway. So Nigeria is still the symbol, still the legacy to that thinking. So Nigeria is the ultimate Joe of the British adventures in 18 to early 1900s, even till today in the continent. So other European jump in, they divide Africa like saying a cake. Without Africa on the table, by the way, that's when the Canadian British, Prime Minister, they call that man, candidate come out, they cry openly. If we are not on the table, God damn it, we got them the menu. Exactly, that's what we were in 1885. We are on the table. We were the menu. They slice us like cake without us being there. So that led to the artificial states, exploitation. So post-colonial, that's the shackle that is still putting moving around our heads, our necks and legs. So if you fast forward to today, 2026, you factor in the board of peace and the ratification, you will understand that this is a colonization 2.0. Maybe now we have to take a touch on with that 2.0. So that was 2026, Switzerland. January was could be also be termed as 1885 conference, led by the president himself, Donald J. Trump, who chaired indefinitely. They started as a framework for what ceasefire and reconstruction. Even up to date, fire has not ceased anyway. So ceased from the Palestinian side, by the way. So now they are extending it to global peace. It's no longer Gaza peace anymore. So global peace, conflict resolution, and stability intervention. That's like well, that's a fucking the primary duty of the United Nations. Pay to play 1 billion money. So just like in Berlin, there was no African in attendance. There was no West African attendance. Uh, so these are cool exactly the lane position. And this, even that Berlin 18 about they were in the decision were making in luxury hotels. Let me say nah, you just gather on that trio. So the top of top notch, best of the best. You gather in some luxury hotel by the superpower. US also led that mission too. So they affect global south without border inclusion critics. So ladies and gentlemen, we are in it for the second time. We are in recolonization for the second time. We are excluded in Berlin. We are also excluded in Davos. Isn't that maybe juju be that? Now we can get terrorists in our backyard, so we fit in perfectly. Board of Peace. The same we unite. We are not among the United Nations. Now they say peace. They are not on the table to make among those that will make the peace. So the Berlin of 1885 set rules for colonization. Board of Peace set new rules for peace intervention reconstruction, potentially overriding United Nations local sovereignty. In pay to play role, Economy leverage, Berlin enabling resource grabbing, require massive financial commitment for seats, even by some as modern. So when people they complain about like it's all about money, money. That's how UN when they started their own, pretty much the same. Just that that was not on a globalization standard. The world wasn't as global as it is now. They came in as a humanitarian too because there was crisis. Both they justify the civilization and stabilizing ending slavery, slave trade versus Gaza. So pretend to war, perceive peace, enabling dominance, exploitation, and all this good stuff. So Berlin was just the origin. Berlin are the foundation. So power of an outsider, withdrawing the fate of pretty much now billions of people without them sitting in the room, just like that. So Davos is pretty much the review or the revival or the upscale of that ghost. So on another elite again, these are just the descendants of the 1885 elite, European elite. You gather again in Switzerland, this time around Davos, like they craft the global structure with Africa on the margins. Right? If you read the text, you get that under the banners of peace, prosperity, but risk new forms of external leverage and neglect. We did. Another once again, repeating history. We are repeating history over and over. So they'll control us again for the next 100 years. Pretty much that's what it means. If you go all the way, push it back again before they even arrived at Berlin, they always talk understanding the birth of America, understanding 17th and 18th century is very key to understanding World War One, and it's a must for you to understand the situation that we are today. Because you have to go back to the Congress of Vienna. There was a Congress in Vienna, Congress of Vienna in 1814 to 1815, where the same elite gather. Of course, European powers, Australia, Britain, Persian as at that time, it's not like Germany, Russia, France, they all gathered in Vienna after they don't defeat Napoleon. They redrew Europe map, Europe as it is. They redrew the map, restored monarchies, created the concert of Europe for peace and balance of power, suppresses revolution and nationalism. Does that sound like what Trump is doing? So again, no meaningful input from the smaller countries, for the smaller states, the colonies, or even the global south at large, Africa, Asia. We are all treated as their spheres. They can tell us we are under their tutelage. So it's pretty much just like what transpires in Davos. It's like a club of the powerful deciding global order post crisis with the pretense of stability, peace, prioritizing power, great power interests, they call it. Their interest come first. So maybe today, nothing that is happening now that is kind of new. That's why I say it's just a method to the madness instead of saying that some people want to tell you about Yalta Conference of 1945. Pretty much like what? Almost 100 years in between. So now this time was Roosevelt of the US, Churchill of the UK, Stalin, USSR. So the people that met in Crimea now when Russia can take over from Ukraine. Remember in 2024 under Obama? That's where they met and divide the post-war Europe and spheres of influence. That's when America gets Europe under its control. You and that gathering. So the decision on Poland borders, Eastern European fate, and UN setup were made by the big three without broader consultation. So even the birth of UN, those people they say, board of PA Trump cannot. That's how UN started by just three men sitting in the room. April, Trump will be on his way to Beijing to meet Xi Jinping. Who knows what is going to come out of there? Or maybe if they agree on something, who knows where the next gathering is going to take place to determine how they will take on us. So it's the same thing with the Bretton Woods Conference in 1944, where 44 allies nations met in New Hampshire to create the post-war economic order, where they create UN, that's IMF, World Bank, the fixed exchange rates tied to the US dollar. Pretty much, one would say that was the end of United Nations or a World Trade Organization when that decision was made in Britain. But of course, it benefit the medium power, as Kanye would want to put it. Again, the US dominated that as the main creator, setting rules for global finance and reconstruction aids. That's how it's going to happen too. History, they say, doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. So Berlin Conference of 1885 is pretty much the same. Most as we talk and as we speak that time for Doha, Qatar, same. They are same. Look at that. Cornelius Mango say, Babande gede, but makankande chilo. Our parents might be different, but our grandparents are fucking the same. So in 1885, now we be the real price. The main menu, the correct pando yam, orishi. We were the price to be consumed and portioned out. In 2026, again, we are on option side. I mean, a leftover, we say will be said. Nobody will fuck with us like that, you know. So maybe later they will serve us if it pays up or align. But the main phase is elsewhere, Middle East, maybe Europe, as they are with including Canada. Ah, so the same thing from 1885 to now. Decisions were made in a luxury European setting, Berlin then, Davos today. By outsiders with humanitarian stability, branding, masking power play. They talk about us as if we are other species. We don't be like that. So, so from shifting from what main menu to dessert. That's how I put it. Your dessert now, right? From main menu to dessert, reflect the decline. Direct colonial competition. No need to partition anymore. No, that was back in the days. That's history now. But persistent marginalization. Africa agencies is acknowledged in rhetoric, and they say with the S's. But yet, in practice, it is still often an object of an external agenda rather than a co-author. If board of peace grows and starts intervening globally, watch how far it is. West Africa gets pulled in as a payer. We're already paying. They don't increase our tax. The tax is not for our own good. It's to make sure the empire is up to date. So they don't already put up it, not as a partner, another self, we have dinner. In fact, we are not even dinner. So we are more a dessert that can still be sweet for some, but they are really the point of the meal. Yesu yeche nini hanya, nini gaskiya nini rai, ba mai zuwa gunu ba sai ta wurina. Yesu yeche nini hanya, nini gaskiya nini rai. Maybe America said, man, y'all ain't gonna survive without me. He said that me or nothing, motherfuckers. I waited that they do Tunubu and his friends be that. So history has a funny way of repeating itself, but the dress code is much better now. In 1885, they met in Berlin. A group of men in stiff collar and wax mustache huddled over a map of Africa like it was a Sunday roast. No one from the continent was invited to the dinner. Of course, you don't ask the turkey for his opinion on the stuffing. They carved it up with a ruler and compass, looking for the meat, the land, the rubber, the gold. But fast forward to 2026 and the menu has changed. Africa isn't the main course anymore. It is the dessert. And everyone knows dessert is where the real profit margin is. Today, the guests don't wear pith helmets. They wear Patagonia vest and Italian suits. They ain't looking for rubber. They are looking for the sugar that runs the modern world. We are talking about lithium for the EVs, cobalt for the smartphone, the youngest labor market on the planet. Africa is sweet, finish to the global supply chain. Without it, the West green revolution is just a bitter pill. and the East manufacturing engine runs out of fuel. But here is the twist. In 1885, Africa was the plate. In 2026, Africa is starting to own the restaurants. The dessert isn't just sitting there waiting to be eaten anymore. Between the African Continental Free Trade Area and a new generation of tech-savvy leaders, the continent is starting to set the price per slice. The world might still be hungry, but the days of free lunch or a cheap dessert are officially not over. Ah, the future is somehow for the lack of so what are these hustlers are hungry about, since they don't care about what the world is planning for them? Trump don't make an announcement again. Let's listen.
All right, let's get down to business. That's enough of that.
Business.
But how good is Lee Greenwood? He was with us right from the beginning. First time I walked onto the stage, I heard that song. I liked it. I said, let's use it. That was 10 years ago, and he's been with us all the way. Fantastic guy. There's never been a man that made so much money from one song ever, and I'm happy about it. But I'm delighted to be back in the beautiful Mellon Auditorium, a wonderful family. Tim Mellon is a great guy. He's the current version of the Mellons, a fantastic person. To celebrate a thrilling new milestone for America, the first generation of Trump account children. Trump account children. For the first time ever, we're going to give every newborn American child a financial stake in the future, head start at life, and a fair shot at the American dream, something people don't talk about so much, at least not for the last 4 years they haven't been, but now they're talking about it big. This last period of time, it's been unbelievable. You see what's going on with our economy, the tremendous investments that's been made in our country. We have over $18 trillion coming in. The most, I think, was 3. That was 10 years ago, another country, not even our country. We have $18 trillion, and we have thousands of businesses being built all over the country, and hundreds of massive plants, so big, car plants, AI plants. With the support of the men and women here in this beautiful room, over the next 15 years, we're going to put $3 to $4 trillion of wealth into the hands of young Americans who otherwise would have really started out with nothing. It's really an amazing thing because it gives young children that start out with really nothing, and we gives them, boy, it's more money than anybody could imagine. From their standpoint, they'll have a real start in life, and that's why decades from now, I believe the Trump accounts will be remembered as one of the most transformative policy innovations of all time. And I've done a lot of them. The tax cuts, we've done a lot of them, more than I think anybody. And I think this is going to be one of the most outstanding. Last summer, I signed the great, big, beautiful bill delivering. It made this possible, too. It actually made this possible. Without it, we wouldn't have been able to do this. Delivering the largest tax cuts in American history, including no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. And, you know, we did another thing. When you buy a car now, you get a deduction on the interest payment if you borrow money. So think of it. Rich people get so many deductions. I'm the king of deductions. I love deductions. But people, middle-income people, never had a deduction before. Now they're getting a deduction on interest. They buy a car. That's going to have a huge impact on the automobile. By the way, there's one proviso. It has to be made in America. If the car is made in another country, no thank you. But they're all going to be made in America pretty soon because we have factories coming in from Canada, Mexico, Japan, Germany, all over Europe. They're all coming here to make their cars because they don't want to pay tariffs. Very simple. It wasn't very complicated. You'll see those numbers starting to produce. That's why you see these massive construction numbers, and soon when those things start opening, you're going to see employment, and you're going to see wealth creation for middle-income people like you've never seen before. Every single Democrat in Congress voted to raise taxes on hardworking citizens. Their whole campaign was raise taxes. I've never heard of it before. All my life I grew up, and I hear politicians, we will cut taxes. This is the only group I've ever seen, we're going to raise your taxes. No wonder they lost. Actually, there were other reasons also. But together with the majorities in the House and Senate, we overcame their obstruction, and we put more money into the pockets of every working American than anyone thought even imaginable. Perhaps no provision of the great big beautiful bill will prove more consequential than Trump accounts. Under this program, the U.S. government will automatically create a tax-free investment account for every newborn American child, something that nobody really would have even thought of. There were some brilliant people that thought of it for a long time. They're here with us today. We're going to introduce a couple of them. But nobody really, I mean, I've had friends at the top people in business. They came up to me, whose idea was this? This is great. They said, I never thought of that. We'll fund those personal accounts with a seed contribution of $1,000, which will compound and grow over the course of their lives and could grow into very, very substantial numbers. Parents, employers, churches, states, and loved ones will also be able to add up to $5,000 in additional money to those accounts. And with every modest contribution, Trump accounts should reach at least $50,000 in value by the time the child turns 18, and could be very substantially more than that. With slightly greater contributions, the typical account will grow to $100,000, $200,000, and can even grow up to past $300,000 per child. And we think the most likely case is in the $200,000, $300,000 range. The size and scale of this wealth will dwarf all government programs ever created to benefit America's youth. There's never been anything like this. That's why everybody's talking about it. Even really people that truly hate me are making this investment. One person hates my guts. He put $1 billion into it. They said, you must like this program a lot because you can't stand me. I said, I do, but I do like you more than you think. They liked me more in the last year than they liked me before. Although we had a great first term, we can't forget that. We have the greatest economy in the history of our country, but this is blowing it away. So every president, thank you. Every president in modern history has left our children with nothing but debt. But under this administration, we're going to leave every child with real assets and a shot at financial freedom. We'll ensure that Americans don't just end their lives with a nest egg, but instead all Americans will begin their lives with a beautiful nest egg. There's never been anything quite like this. I want to express my tremendous gratitude to a very special couple who believed so strongly in this vision right from the beginning that they personally donated $6.25 billion. That's $6,250,000,000. Even the 250 is a lot of money when you think. I mean, you know, Nikki, do you hear that money? That's big even compared to rapping. All the money she makes, she's hearing a number like that. She'll say, how many songs do I have to make to catch that? But amazing, amazing thing, $6,250,000,000 to fund Trump accounts for an additional 25 million children aged 10 and under. And that's Michael and Susan Dell, two incredible people. Where are you, Michael? Where's Michael? Stand up, Michael. What a great guy. What a great guy. You know, I tell you, he didn't do it for his business. He did it, I guess, probably would have been better off not to. That's a lot. But you know what? I hope everybody goes out and buys Dell computers. My son, I told you, Barron, he loves that computer. I don't know what the hell you're doing to it, but he likes it. But I just want to thank you very much, and Susan, it's unbelievable, really unbelievable what you've done. So Michael and Susan made this donation in recognition of America's 250th anniversary, because there's no better way to honor America's history than to invest in America's future. That's what they did. And this is perhaps the largest, one of the largest certainly, but perhaps the largest private donations of all time. That's a lot, $6.25 billion. And somebody did say that. A friend of mine, very rich, he's going to put up $100 million. And he said, geez, you know, think of it, the 250 that Michael has is a lot more than mine. And I haven't even talked about the $6 billion. But anyway, it's amazing when Michael can start off with very little money and build a fortune where he can, routinely make such a payment and investment in the youth of our country. Michael, you're great. Thank you, man. Thank you. And I also want to say hello to and thank some very special people that have been with my administration and really become friends of mine. On occasion, I have little arguments, but generally, I would say really good. And who's doing, and start off with a man who's doing a phenomenal job, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Scott, thank you very much, Scott. And he loved this right from the beginning, Scott, right? He saw this and he said, wow, what a great idea that is. This is, hundreds of thousands of dollars by the time they reach 18, but we can go 21. They can keep it in longer. But he saw this right from the beginning. He said, wow, this is great. And we have some other ideas that will be great, but this was one that just hit everybody. This was an easy one to think about. And again, that bill allowed us to do this. Otherwise, can you imagine trying to get this approved by Democrats and Republicans? Let's get together. We got it done. Also, a man who's made your life much easier, because those of you that are building plants and equipment so you can give your money, ultimately you're giving your money away anyway, no matter how much you make. But he's made it a lot easier. Approvals for big plants used to take 25 years, and then you'd get rejected, actually. You'd go 20 years environmentally, and they'd reject you. You finally, if I think of it, a guy starts young, he starts an approval process. By the time he's middle-aged, they take a vote, and he loses. It's not worth it. But we have a man that's getting these things done in a matter of weeks. And the biggest plants in the world are being built right now, and he's getting them done fast. He's getting electric plants built so that we can buy them. They're paying for them. They want to pay for them. So they can open up their AI plants, and they can open up their automobile plants, and lesser so. The automobiles, believe it or not, take much less electricity. You're going to have to tell me why you need so much electricity to create information. I said, what's your primary product? Information. Oh, I see. Information. It better be damn good information for the kind of money. But Lee Zeldin is a star, and he has been incredible. Thank you, Lee. And, I have to say this, Scott and I were talking about it. So Lee went out to California after the fire, which would have never happened if they would have let the water flow from the Pacific Northwest, which everybody's been telling them, including me. Now I just opened it up. We literally sent in the military to open it up. But if they would have let, you wouldn't have had the fires, because you would have had a little thing called the old-fashioned way, water in the fire hydrants, as opposed to empty fire hydrants. You would have had water, and most of the houses had the sprinklers on top. No, there was no water in their sprinkler in their living room. All those fires wouldn't have started. But they did start, and I will say that Lee, the most difficult permit was Lee. I went there a couple of days after the fire, met so many people on the streets who were, in many cases, fairly wealthy people, some very rich people. Some of the best houses in California burned down. And I said to him, so what do you want to do? They said, sir, we want to start immediately. Well, we'll get you permits. Now, the hardest permit, Lee, was the federal permit. Is that right? He got everything done in 20 days, right? The whole thing? Is that a correct statement or less? 20 days. So he got everything done, 100% ready to go. And this mayor, who's a grossly incompetent person, she said, we're going to try and have the permits done within 2 years. Remember that? I got into an argument. I said, you mean within 2 days, right? She said, no. And I'm meeting all these people as I'm walking along the streets with the fire departments and the policemen. and they're all devastated. You know, they're still smoldering. They weren't even allowed to go in their property. The Environmental Protection Agency local said, don't go on your property, okay? We said, it's okay, don't worry about it. Any problem is gone. Any problem is burned. Any germs are burned. They're burned. They were burned. Nobody's ever seen anything like it, but all so unnecessary that it happened. But we got it all done in 20 days, the whole place. And yet now, still, more than a year later, they don't have permits. Almost nobody is building. So I haven't told this to Lee Zeldin yet, but I'm going to put you in charge of getting permits. I think we're going to override the local authorities because they're never going to have it. And when I was told that there's a provision where you can override the local authority to get things done, because it's really, to me, it's a national emergency. What they've done to these people is horrible. It's just horrible. And they'll still vote Democrat. Can you believe it? After all, it's just, they get used to it. Although I must say we converted many. We'll probably convert a lot more. But I just want them to get into their houses. And I don't want a big section of the area built into low-income housing. They want to put low-income housing right smack in the middle of it. And that's not the American dream, you know? You didn't do that. And low-income housing is great. I built a lot of low-income housing, but you don't put it there. This is one of the richest neighborhoods in the world, and we're going to let those people. And I recommended strongly that everybody gets the approval, immediate approval to build a house, and you give them a 10% bonus so they can build a house 10% larger than they had before if they want, for all the suffering they've been caused. So they can build a little bit bigger house. So Lee, if you want, will you accept the job? Huh? He's under a lot of stress. Okay, all right? Override those people. Those people are incompetent. Between the mayor and the governor, they're incompetent. They'll never move. They'll never get approved. So do whatever you can, Lee. There's a provision that you're allowed to do it, and I'll sign it in 2 seconds, frankly. It'll never happen. I also want to introduce a man, Frank Pasigno. Now, if you met Frank and if you knew Frank, he's quiet, but he's actually a stone-cold killer. He was one of the biggest people in business. He would have been sitting with you. In fact, now he's got a better seat because he's working for the government. He's the head of a lot of things, but the job he's done in this country is great, and he's working on Social Security and a thing called the IRS. He's working with Scott on both of them, really, but the IRS in particular. And he is a fantastic man. Where are you, Frank? Took the biggest pay cut in history. He went from being paid $35 million a year to being paid about $35 a year. I think you may have taken the biggest pay cut in history. He'd be close. He'd be one of the top 5. Because a few people have done that. A few billionaires have sort of left. But Frank has gone from one of the most successful people. He worked with Jamie Dimon. I don't think Jamie likes me too much nowadays, but that's okay. I never minded that. But Frank, you are fantastic, and you're doing a great job. We appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you to the family. The director of National Economic Council, a man who's in the news a lot. You know, my only problem is I don't want to lose him. I will tell you that he's working from a big deficit because I don't want to lose him. He's so good. Kevin Hassett. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Kevin. A friend of mine, a senator who has been unbelievable. She's a tremendous woman, married to a great football player. Her husband is a massive man. This guy, he played in the NFL, I guess, for 11 years. He was top-of-the-line player. I met him. I said, that's not a normal situation. Look at this guy. This guy was seriously powerful, big, and he's as nice as he is big. And she is one of our best senators, Senator Katie Britt. Thank you, darling. From Alabama. I love Alabama. We love Alabama. Marsha Blackburn is an incredible person. Unfortunately, she's running for governor. She's running for governor of Tennessee. I'd love her not to. I begged her. I said, Marsha, we don't want to lose you in the Senate. But I have to say they're lucky. They're lucky to get you because you are a talent and a great person. and you've been with me all the way, and I appreciate it. And special person. Marcia, stand up, please. And a senator who's a friend of mine, you wouldn't believe that because we went through a rough campaign together. It was nasty. We got along so well, and everybody, we actually did joint rallies. Can you believe it? He wanted to get some of the action, so he's smart. He said, would you do a rally with me? But we did joint rallies, and the press used to say, will you ever, you know, I said, don't worry, it'll come. He said the same thing, don't worry, it'll come. He's a very tough guy, very brilliant guy. In fact, when I said, you know, because I had never gone into a debate before officially, my whole life was a debate, but I'd never debated before officially. And I said, let me find out about my competition. Who are these people? Because many of them, you know, they were senators and mostly senators and governors. And I said, well, why don't we start with this guy named Ted Cruz? Let me, you know, well, he was the best student at Harvard. #1 in his class. He was the best student at Princeton or something. And he was the national debate champion for 3 years. And I said, well, I don't like that. I didn't know that. I don't like that. And he was a very good debater, I will tell you that. He's a smart guy. But I'll never forget, because he was the first one I looked at. You know, I've just joined the ranks of politics. And the first famous, that was the Rosie O'Donnell. Remember that? Only Rosie O'Donnell? Ireland, you can keep her. Ireland has done us tremendous. The head of Ireland said, are all your people this way? We don't want that. But Ted Cruz has one thing that I like. If I ever have problems, because it's hard to get people approved, he's a brilliant legal mind. He's a brilliant man. If I nominate him for the United States Supreme Court, I will get 100% of the vote. The Democrats will vote for him because they want to get him the hell out. And the Republicans will vote for him because they want to get him the hell out, too. Where's Ted? Where are you, Ted? And with all of that being said, he's a great guy, too. He's a great guy. We've become friends, and he's a very effective person, too. Thank you, Ted, very much. The man knows more about tax than anybody that I know. Jason Smith, congressman, wonderful person. Thanks, Jason. Thank you, Jason. Great job. Idaho Governor Brad Little. Terrific guy. Thank you, Brad. Georgia Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, who hopefully will be the governor of Georgia very shortly. They have a big race. He's leading by a lot in the polls. He was outstanding as a lieutenant governor. He's great everywhere, and I've endorsed him fully, so I don't want to, you know, do anything that you don't know about. I have given him my complete and total endorsement. Burt Jones, where are you, Burt? Thank you, Burt. Great guy. Chief Design Officer of the United States, Joe Gebbia. Joe, thank you. Great idea, great ideas. Also, we have Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary. I like Kevin O'Leary. Where's Kevin O'Leary? Come on, Kevin, it's so nice. He's with me 90% of the time, but when he's with me, he's really with me. Great. And we got the TikTok deal done. Who the hell thought we could do that, right? I know. I wish he wanted to buy TikTok so much, and I would have done it, but his price was slightly lower. Slightly. He's fantastic. What a good, you're an entertainer, businessman, you had the whole quality, so I appreciate. I know what you did. Having done The Apprentice, I see you on television, you have what it takes, right? So I appreciate it, and thanks for all the nice things you do. And Cheryl Hines, where's Cheryl? Wow. Married to a very, very powerful, important man. And I said, I'll tell you, Bobby, she's strong. I watched her in an interview. I said, Bobby, you keep him in line, don't you, huh? She said, yes, I do. She's got no choice. He's doing a great job, and so are you. Yeah, he's doing a great job. He's doing a very different kind of a job, too, and he's doing things that people have wanted to do for a long time. And they didn't have the courage, so say hello to Bobby, okay? We're also pleased, my daughter, she went crazy when she heard that this was happening. I want to go. You know, she happens to be in the wrong state right now for that, but when she heard that there's a certain person that's here who's the greatest and most successful female rapper in history, Nicki Minaj. Come on. And, you know, And Nikki makes a lot of cash. Not as much as Michael Dell. Not quite. Not as much. But that's okay. But Nikki makes a lot of money, and she's generously stepping up. She's investing hundreds of thousands of dollars in Trump accounts to support the children and really the children of her incredible fans. That's great. Focus on that. Why should you give to somebody else's fans? Give to your fans. I like that. But and I just think she's great. You know, I've been hearing so much over the years, because I didn't know Nikki, and I've been hearing over the years she's a big Trump supporter and a Trump fan, and she took a little heat on occasion. Her community isn't necessarily, I tell you, we did pretty damn well with that, with your community, as we say. But Nikki has been an unbelievable supporter. She gets almost as much as Mr. Wonderful over here. He's been another one that's been so good. But I'd like to ask you to come up, Nikki. Come on up. Come on. She's been such a great supporter, and a great supporter of Trump accounts. And I said, I'm going to let my nails grow, because I love those nails. I'm going to let those nails grow. She's so good. She's been MAGA. What can I say? She's been with us all the way, right, Alex? She's been with us all the way. And just want to thank her. And it wasn't so easy. For you, it was easier, right? You want to come up? You want to come up? Mr. Wonderful, come on up here. You've been terrific. Come on up.
Hello. Well, I don't know what to say, but I will say that I am probably the president's #1 fan. And that's not going to change. And the hate, or what people have to say, it does not affect me at all. It actually motivates me to support him more. And it's going to motivate all of us to support him more. We're not going to let them get away with bullying him and pains. It's not going to work, okay? He has a lot of force behind him, and God is protecting him. Amen.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. On behalf of all the...
Should I go?
Thank you. Thank you. On behalf of all the entrepreneurs in America, I'd like to thank you, Mr. President, because we create 72% of the jobs. Companies 5 to 500 employees, and all we care about is policy. We love policy, pro-business policy, and these accounts are fantastic for independence and support. I thank you very much. It's all about the entrepreneur, and I think you know that, sir. Thank you very much. Well, that was great. A little interlude. I don't know. That's better than getting Scott Bessent up. Thank you both very much. Two terrific people. When Trump accounts officially launch on July 4th of this year, every parent will be able to activate their accounts and access the funds at the trumpaccounts.gov. So it's all set up, all ready to go. It's beautiful. The site is beautiful. On that glorious day, we also expect to have commitments from generous private individuals in all 50 states, and they'll be making additional contributions for children in their own states. And Already, legendary investor Ray Dalio has pledged to adopt the entire state of Connecticut. That's pretty good, Michael. And thank you very much, Ray. Great legend. And today, one of the original advocates of this program has agreed to adopt his home state of Indiana, Brad Gerstner. Brad's here someplace? Where's Brad? Come on. I think Michael and Brad, would you come up here, please? Come up here. I mean, this isn't exactly Mr. Wonderful and Nikki, but I think they might be worth more money than Mr. Wonderful, right? These guys are worth a lot of money. But Brad is donating, listen to this, $250 to Trump accounts for all children under 5 in Indiana. So every children, all the children under 5, $250, and he'll be donating tens of millions of dollars more in matching contributions to millions of children all across the country. He's going to make a massive donation already. We know what it is. Brad is not only one of the most successful business people, he's the founder of the Invest America Foundation. And he's been working on this idea for years. And he was the one, he went over to see Michael. Michael loved it. And those two were a hell of a team, along with Mrs. Dell, who's been so great, Susan. I also delighted to report that dozens of major employers have signed up to add the Trump account contributions to their employee benefit packages, including Uber, Schwab, Charter Communications, and many, many others. And just today it was announced that Intel, NVIDIA, Broadcom, IBM, Steak and Shake, Coinbase, Continental Resources, and Comcast have all signed up for really big contributions. So I want to thank them. I want to have you two guys come on up. Would you say a couple of words? Brad and Michael, would you say a couple of words? That's every newborn American child a financial stake in the future.
Tight, so investments like this into our children really help us to buy diapers and formula.
In America, a capitalist from birth, and it would not have happened without.
Brad and Michael, would you say a couple of words? That's fantastic. Only Indiana. You can't do bigger. We love Indiana, but you know, how about Indiana, Iowa? No, we appreciate it. Big numbers. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, 4 years ago, we set off on a journey to reconnect every child in America with the American dream. This president ran on a Main Street agenda that too many people had been left out and left behind. And his articulation of no tax on tips, that doesn't help rich folks. That helps those left out and left behind. No tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. And when Ted Cruz authored the Invest America Act in the Senate, and Michael Dell partnered with me to bring the private sector to bear on this, we had the opportunity that this president was willing to sign. He immediately understood the impact. That this wasn't about the wealthy folks in America. This was about the 50 million American families who will be lifted up and reconnected to the American dream, because this is now the law of the land. Forevermore, every child in America, from rural Missouri to rural Indiana, from Trenton to Compton, is going to start off life with an investment account at birth, seeded with $1,000, where they privately own NVIDIA and Microsoft, all the greatest companies in this country, right? Not dependent on government, independent from government. Not more socialism. The answer to more socialism is more capitalism. This makes every child in America a capitalist from birth, and it would not have happened without the leadership of our Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, without the leadership of the Speaker and Ted Cruz in the Senate, but most importantly, and every business leader in America will tell you this, for too long they had no access in Washington to the White House. People didn't want to hear their ideas. This president is voracious in his desire to hear from America's leaders about how to make America better. This is citizen democracy at its best. An idea that started around a kitchen table in Silicon Valley makes its way to this day. I'm humbled and honored to be here, and I'm grateful for your leadership.
Thank you, Mr. President. As you heard from Brad, you know, the fact that this bill got passed itself was a miracle, and it creates a platform for communities, for families, for corporations, for philanthropists to add to these accounts. And in not too many years, essentially every child in America will have savings invested in the greatest companies in this country. And that will change the face of this country over the next 10, 20, 30 years. We couldn't be more excited about this and the opportunity to make a difference. You know, the best investment a country can make is in its people, especially in its children. And this creates an incredible platform for that to occur at enormous scale. And we're excited to see it all come together. Thank you all so much.
Those are two fantastic people, I can tell you that. I want to give a very special thanks to some of the CEOs here this morning. Vlad Tenev of Robinhood, what a job he's done. Where's Vlad? What a job you've done. Young guy. Nice young guy, too. Arjun Sethi of Kraken. Arjun, thank you very much, wherever you are. Thank you. Anthony Noto of SoFi Technologies. SoFi. Thank you very much, Anthony. These are the ones you read about, and Bill Ackman is here, Pershing Square, and Hock Tan of Broadcom, and so many others that if I name them, we'll be up here all day. But I just want to say that what a job you've all done. Incredible job. Everybody. Just about everybody in this room. Not everybody. I'm not in love with everybody, but a couple of them I don't like very much. But if they're here, I'm starting to like them a lot better because they're here for a very good reason. I'm officially calling on all employers all across America to follow the lead of many of these amazing companies and make matching Trump account contributions to benefit for the American worker, and they're going to benefit the American worker so much. This morning, I'm also pleased to announce that Visa is creating a brand new platform which will allow credit card holders to deposit their cashback rewards directly into Trump accounts. That's a big deal. Visa, thank you. Where's Visa? The head of Visa. Thank you very much, Visa. These initiatives could not come at a better moment because there's never been a better time to invest in the United States of America than right now. Who knew it would have happened this fast? I inherited a mess. We were a country that was laughed at a year and a half ago. We were laughed at. Now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. Nobody even close. So, you know, who knew this was going to take place this quickly? Right, Michael? I didn't think it was going to go that fast. I knew we were going to do it, but I thought it would take a couple of years at least. We just a couple of days longer than the first year, so it's really amazing. And just this morning as I'm running out, I see the S&P 500 hit 7,000 for the first time ever. So I say America is back. America is back. Since the election, the stock market has set 52 all-time record highs, adding $9 trillion in value. And $18 trillion of investment is pouring into the country. It's going to be higher than that. Just over 1 year ago, we were a country that lost its way. We were mocked and scorned, and every American child will now be and have access to something that is really incredible, and they can watch directly the economic boom that's taking place. This is a boom that's taking place, the likes of which we've really never seen. I don't think people, get it yet. Not a lot of people. They don't get it. They don't see the thousands of businesses being built, the hundreds and hundreds of massive factories that are going up all over. But they're going to start to see it. They're starting to see it. I mean, if they're modestly intelligent, if they're very intelligent, they saw it about a year ago. With us today is Craig Smith, a fourth-generation family farmer and volunteer firefighter from Culpeper, Virginia, along with his wonderful wife, Heather. Craig and Heather have an 18-month-old son and a 1-month-old that they also welcomed just recently, twin boys. And they can't wait to activate Trump accounts for all three of their children. this July 4th. Craig and Heather. Do you want to come up here, Craig and Heather? Where are you, Craig and Heather? Come on up. Craig and Heather, come on up. Come on up. It meant so much to them. You know, people write letters. Every once in a while you get a letter, it just hits you. Craig and Heather, come on up. Thank you. That's great. Wow, look at this family, huh? They're a rich family now. The kids are richer than the parents. That's the way we want it. Thank you very much. Wow.
We just want to thank President Trump for all of his hard work and dedication to American families and farm families like ours. Farming is not always easy and sometimes margins are tight, so investments like this into our children really help us to buy diapers and formula and not have to worry about making financial decisions for them this early on. So thank you very much, President Trump.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. So nice. Also joining us today is the Goins family from Fayetteville, Arkansas. Charlie works in manufacturing, and he's here with his wife.